A quick time event, or QTE, is a simple button-pressing minigame, normally, in which you can pull off with ease something incredibly cool. But in order for these interactive cutscenes to actually be interactive, there has to be a consequence for when you fail to hit that button. It might be a game over screen, or it might be a humiliating pratfall. Sometimes it's both. Hooray! Not hooray. Whatever. Consider these times you failed a QTE and wound up looking like an hilarious dummy instead of a cool action hero/heroine. And beware spoilers for these following games.
We're sectioned off, sir. Please step back.
Agent Jayden, FBI.
You got a badge or something, Mr. Jayden?
Yeah, of course.
Norman Jayden is an FBI agent investigating the notorious origami killer. With the combined power of his elite detective skills and early Oculus Rift prototype. You know, the one that made you hallucinate tanks in the real world. Didn't mention that in the Kickstarter, did they? His biggest claim to fame, though, besides being named after a Will Smith offspring, is how he's known around the agency as the world's least competent agent in a foot pursuit. Or at least he is, if you manage to miss more or less every button prompt in this QTE sequence, in which he chases down a fleeing suspect.
Shit, don't just stand there, he's gonna get away!
If you do, you turn Heavy Rain from a gritty thriller into a comedy masterpiece, in which Norman is almost run down by not one but two cars, then manages to not just collide with but somehow physically wrestle a woman to the ground. This is followed by Jayden klutzing his way through an indoor market in which he fails to understand doors, or cornering, or how not to crash into every cardboard box in a 50-yard radius, then a brisk dash through the fish market, or it would be if he wasn't busy sliding around on the ice like a newborn calf. My spine. Somehow the fight with a chicken did not make it into Agent Jayden's after-action report.
Go on, shoot!
It's also humiliatingly, excruciatingly silly that you wonder how could this slapstick brilliance become a harrowing brawl in a meat locker. And yet, it does. Again with the spine.
You know that bit in Tomb Raider where Lara Croft rediscovers actual living dinosaurs in Peru and then doesn't tell anyone about it? Don't worry, Lara, it's just the scientific discovery of a lifetime. No, it's fine, I'm sure you got a lot on. Just as well she didn't report how dinosaurs were no longer extinct, because pretty soon they're extinct all over again, soon after she rocks up in this Peruvian Lost Valley with her twin pistols and disregard for paleontological research. Life finds a way, and Lara finds a way to kill it. It's just nature. I mean, that's one outcome in Tomb Raider Anniversary, the one where you're a cool dinosaur murdering action heroine. The other outcome is where you fluff the new QuickTime events added for this remake and get got by your terrible lizard foes, being eaten by a T-Rex, or eaten by a Velociraptor, or crushed by a Velociraptor and eaten by a T-Rex. They're using teamwork. We've got so much to learn from these noble creatures. Hey, Lara. If you survive that QTE gauntlet though, you're eligible for the most embarrassing of all the dino deaths, in which Lara fails to shoot a T-Rex running right at her, like she's frozen in fear, or that thing where you forget what you're doing in the middle of doing a thing. It's rude to play with your food, T-Rex. Whoa, T-Rex! I haven't seen this needlessly unpleasant a comedy death via dinosaur since Jurassic World. Are you available for a sequel? Who's your agent?
It seems I may have underestimated you, Chris.
Save it, Wesker. There's no one left to help you now.
I don't need anyone else.
Chris Redfield and Albert Wesker have an enmity as long-running and powerful as Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. they've got plenty of bad blood between them even before they wind up in Resident Evil 5, by which time Chris has gotten arms like tree trunks and Albert has become evil Neo from The Matrix. Now, Newton's third law of motion tells us for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Similarly, for every QTE outcome where you look like an action god with the neck of a bull, hello Chris, there is an equal and opposite QTE outcome where you look like a numpty with a neck snapped by Wesker and are dead. Oh God, Sheva, why? I think the worst part about this is the jaunty little whistle from Wesker as he breaks your neck. You are enjoying this way too much, Albert.
Spider-Man is a superhero known for his grace and acrobatic prowess, which is probably why it's so funny when you fail QTEs in Spider-Man games and get a glimpse into an alternate universe in which Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive klutz. Like this moment from Spider-Man 3 in which Peter forgets how to Spider-Man and this woman realises she shouldn't have put all her trust in a teenager in a morph suit.
I'm going to die.
Our favourite though has to be this from Spider-Man Web of Shadows, in which a rooftop fight with Black Cat can go horribly wrong in a number of ways depending on which QTE you fail. There's Spidey getting slapped off the roof.
I told you to lay off.
Or there's Spider-Man booting Black Cat off the roof and then taking way too long to remember she doesn't have any powers that will help her in that situation.
Oh God!
And finally, Spidey trying to save Black Cat as she plunges off the roof, but just sort of giving up on the plan halfway through.
Gotcha! Oh!
No wonder it's taken this long for the Avengers to invite him to join.
What the fuck? Jessica!
Part of the fun of horror movies is shouting at the people on screen whenever they do something stupid. But I wouldn't recommend doing that if you're planning on failing all of Mike's QTEs in Chapter 4 of Until Dawn though, as you'll rupture your larynx. If you miss the button prompts, then Mike, supposedly the jock of the group, appears to lose control of all his basic motor functions as he chases after Jessica, slipping on pipes, falling into rivers, face planting down a hill, headbutting a branch, and generally tripping over or slamming into every single obstacle in his path. I mean, you'd think he'd miss some of the obstacles just by chance. Going on previous experience, I'd say follow the path, Mike. No, you're right. I'm sure you've got this.
No, damn it,
Now, I'm not saying that David Young, star of D4, is a bad private detective, but it's hard to argue with this video evidence of him attempting to interrogate an informant on an aeroplane.
What is the evidence you have?
Okay, to be fair, it goes a lot better if you get the QTEs right, but there's something grimly fascinating about watching David failing to block every punch that's thrown at him, running into the drinks trolley, getting headbutted by the other passengers, and finally, kneed the crotch.
Evidence!
We probably shouldn't be surprised, however, as this seems to be the way David deals with everything in his life, as this typical scene from his home life shows. You should start thinking about a less dangerous line of work, David. Or at least you should think about investing in one of those big inflatable Zorb balls so you can roll around in it so you're not constantly knocking yourself out on every available surface.
There's no way than stare and truth are there!
I want you to air out these books.
Air out the books? Me?
Who else?
In Shenmue 2, Ryo Hazuki is trying to avenge his father's murder, which for some reason he can only do with the help of Li Xiaotao, a kung fu master who will only help Ryo once he has mastered the 4 wudu.
She is Li Xiaotao. Huh?
Out of the 4 Udu, you only have Gong and Dai.
These are kung fu principles that teach one the correct way to live your life and practice martial arts, and they involve punching trees and not freaking out when someone is waving a cutthroat razor in your face.
Listen, do not move, no matter what happens.
Sure, less clear is the lesson behind Tao's instruction that you should air out all the books in the temple, for 2 reasons. 1, it seems to have no practical application to the world of martial arts, and 2, if you fail the very easily failable QTEs, it becomes clear that Ryo is really bad at carrying things. Like worse than anyone on Earth.
Steady there.
For such a skilled martial artist, Ryo has remarkably little control over his limbs, trying to walk straight holding a stack of books, only to wildly veer off course in 2 directions at once, sending the priceless books flying.
Please, be more careful.
Fair play to the monks though, they are very forgiving of you chucking their sacred texts all over the courtyard.
Please, be more careful.
I'm working on the theory that if I do a really bad job, they'll just not invite me back and I can carry on with the game.
You must be tired.
Yes.
You couldn't finish.
I'm sorry.
Well, we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, new plan. Leg it.
Right, those were the QuickTime events that you failed and then you looked like an hilarious idiot. And when I say you, I mean me, because I obviously failed them and did look like an hilarious idiot. But never mind that. You probably want to watch some more Outside Xbox videos. I have got just the playlist for you up here. Lots more videos from Outside Xbox, hundreds of them, in fact, a little bit like this one. And down here we've got lots of videos that are somewhat similar, but with Luke and Ellen from our fantastic new companion channel called Outside Extra. You should check them out.
Just think of them as QTE events that it's impossible to fail.
Right, yeah, just hit the play button.